10 of the most painful WWE moves to take. Number 1. Goldust Shattered Dreams. A Goldust's Shattered Dreams move is a signature move of the legendary wrestler Goldust. It actually involves him trapping his opponent in the corner of the ring with their legs spread apart, and then Goldust delivers a swift and forceful kick to the groin area, causing immense pain and discomfort. Now, of course, you don't have to be a genius to figure out why this move is so painful. The groin area is highly sensitive, and having a swift strike to this area can cause immense pain. Of course, there's a trick that Goldust uses to alleviate the pain somewhat. Even though he does make contact with the groin, most of the force is in the turnbuckle behind the wrestler. Of course, Goldust could only execute this when the referee was distracted, as the move is illegal in wrestling as it's literally a low blow. Technically, this is the ultimate trust between two wrestlers, as Goldust has to hit that turnbuckle with precision. Otherwise, it can be a very painful night for that wrestler. Number 2. The Clothesline. The Clothesline is a move that every wrestler uses. In fact, it's probably in a beginner's handbook of moves wrestlers need to use. However, the beautiful thing about the Clothesline is that there's different variations on how it can be used. The most notable is JBL's Clothesline from Hell, in which the former WWE champion always seems to take someone's head off with each hit. Now, there's nothing fancy about the Clothesline. It's a brutal move that can be effectively be seen as somewhat ordinary in regular matches, yet can be taken seriously as a match or career-ending finisher. What's even better about the Clothesline is that it can come out of nowhere. It's a dynamic move that causes a believable shift at a moment's notice because of the simplicity of the maneuver. Number 3. Apron Brainbuster Sami Zayn. The WWE's always billed the apron as the hardest part of the ring, so naturally any move that connects on the edge of the squared circle seems quite brutal. There aren't many moves that are specific for this part of the ring, which makes Sami Zayn's Brainbuster stand out even more. The move is a dumbed down version that Zayn's lost brother El Generico used on the independent scene as a turnbuckle Brainbuster. Generico passed the baton on to the WWE star, and though Zayn rarely uses it, every time he hits the apron Brainbuster, it sends shivers down your spine because it effectively looks like a career killer. Moves like the pile driver or the original Brainbuster are moves that have broken necks or paralyzed opponents. If Sami Zayn used the apron Brainbuster more often, then it wouldn't be surprising if it ended up on a ban list like the pile driver due to the nasty career-ending risks wrestlers could be taking. Number 4. Inadverted Alabama Slam Drew McIntyre. This move is a bit more complex than the other moves listed thus far. The originator of the move was Hardcore Holly, who finished off his opponents using an Alabama Slam that was effective as a signature move. McIntyre's version of Hardcore Holly's infamous finisher is more dangerous due to its unpredictable nature. Just ask Riddick Moss, who took the ugliest version of McIntyre's inadverted Alabama Slam and landed squarely on his head. The move itself requires some serious strength like the razor's edge, but it also needs the wrestler taking the move to be in perfect sync when using it. Granted, wrestlers need to be in perfect unison for every single move they use inside the squared circle, but the inverted Alabama Slam requires an extra level of commitment from both parties to prevent a serious injury. McIntyre's Future Shock DDT and Claymore are perfect for him as finishers, but the more complex nature of the inverted Alabama Slam makes it more dangerous than most WWE maneuvers. Number 5. Pop-Up Powerbomb to the Apron Kevin Owens. Did you forget about the hardest part of the ring? Apply that to Kevin Owens' signature pop-up powerbomb that has sadly been relegated to signature move status, but who could forget when Owens turned on Sami Zayn in NXT and destroyed him with the powerbomb onto the apron, or even hitting the move on Daniel Bryan, causing panic and fear in his comeback match. When the company was pushing this move as a Generations Punk kick, it was effective because the finisher looked like it could break anyone's back with ease. It made the pop-up version even more threatening because it was positioned as a devastating career-ending move. It is a rare move that has you clutching your back because you can feel the pain through the television screen. Number 6. DDT. The DDT is as old as time. Though many credit Jake the Snake Roberts for the invention of it, the WWE Hall of Famer is in the same camp as CM Punk's GTS, where both wrestlers made a rarely used maneuver infamous. Just like the clothesline, the DDT is a highly dynamic move that can work as both a regular move or an electrifying finisher. There are so many different variations of the DDT, but the classic Jake Roberts maneuver is effective enough to put their opponents on the injury list. From Mick Foley, Edge, The Rock, or Drew McIntyre, driving your opponent's neck into the mat can put a permanent end to a man's career. That's what happened to Charlie Haas, whose career was never the same after taking McIntyre's Future Shock DDT. I broke my neck. Drew McIntyre broke my neck. It's on YouTube. It was supposed to be me and Ron Killings, and they brought him outside instead, and it was an interview, and he cut me off and hit me with a DDT with my hands behind my back. Never let go. I heard it crack. The DDT has lasted in professional wrestling for decades because it's a simple move that can come out of nowhere. Though it doesn't have the injury rate of a straight pile driver, it will surely leave your neck sore for the rest of the night. Number 7. Chops. Can you imagine if Gunther chopped his opponents for an hour straight? Chops are the only move on this list that won't put you out of commission permanently, but the aftermath of these vicious spots usually see the victim's chest light up like a carved turkey. And chops are painful. There's no cushy mat between contact, and since this is professional wrestling, matches are supposed to look brutal and real. Chops are safe enough that the pain won't last very long, but that doesn't mean that your pain experience will be as soft as landing on a cloud of fluffy marshmallows. Number 8. The F5. There's a reason that Brock Lesnar's F5 has remained his primary finisher. The move looks downright deadly. Who could forget one of the bloodiest and most violent beatdowns that resulted in Lesnar F5ing a one-legged Zach Gowen into a steel post? The former WWE champion's entire moniker is that he's an unstoppable beast, so the company has done segments that made the F5 the ultimate finisher. The F5 is really an inverted flapjack, but the spinning and height Lesnar gets on his opponents makes the move seem more brutal and unforgiving. In fact, Road Dogg told a funny story on his Oh You Didn't Know podcast about the F5 that didn't particularly end well for his nose and private parts.
Here's how I controlled myself. If you can watch the video, I got to his leg and I literally fell down and I'm holding his leg. So all I knew he had to do was scoop me up. And then this was a running joke for a long time after this. You'll see I hit my nose and my private part on the ring really hard on both of them. And if you're wondering, my nose did hit first. But like it hurt so bad. The bump was fine, but like my nose and my privates hurt so bad. And so then it was like a running rib where Vince would make fun of me after that. Like, maybe Brock could F5 you again.
Number 9. Brets Turnbuckle Spot. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be is highly regarded amongst his peers when it comes to protecting his opponents inside the ring. Not only that, but Bret went out of his way to make his opponents look good. There are plenty of notable tricks Bret Hart had up his sleeves to grab the fans' attention, with one of them being his signature bump where he rams his sternum into the turnbuckle. Bret Hart has discussed this spot in the past and recalls it happening around his Stampede days. The first time he did it, Bret didn't particularly have the strength to turn around and hit the corner with his back, so he took to the face. He did this bump a couple of times and noticed that fans gasped every time he did it, so it became a regular spot in a good portion of his matches. The spot itself always looked brutal, and it's the incredible selling of the Hitman that has you buying that his sternum legitimately could have been crushed in this spot. That particular bump grabbed the attention by the throat and commanded their attention from that point on. There's a reason why so many consider him the best technical wrestler on the planet, as the WWE Hall of Famer understood the psychology of the business and put it to great use in every one of his matches. I mean, let's face it, the sell would have been so good because it actually would have been painful to do. And number 10, the Bonsai Drop. The Bonsai Drop is always a risky move. While the move is harmless if you weigh less than 100 pounds, a guy like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin was never caught dead using the maneuver. These maneuvers were mainly used by super heavyweights like Yokozuna. Billed at 600 pounds, this WWE Hall of Famer made this finisher infamous for the wrong reasons sometimes. One of those reasons is when Yokozuna nearly popped a guy's ribcage with a devastating Bonsai Drop that surprisingly didn't paralyze the jobber for life. There are rumors that it was an accident though. There were also rumors that it was on purpose because Yokozuna didn't like the guy. Whatever the case may be, the move has always had the potential to cause some serious harm to the chest and ribcage. Mabel crushed Diesel's back doing his version in his SummerSlam 95 match for the WWE Championship. Now Nia Jax uses this move as a finisher. There have been no injuries reported so far, and hopefully it stays that way. Well, there you have it folks. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.